Here's a conversation reflecting on Chapter 8, how these lenses make everything else work.
Today we're diving into the early chapters of Mark Firehammer's book, The Lens That Changes Everything. And the core idea he starts with is, well, it's pretty provocative. He says that real, sustained change doesn't come from new tactics or just more effort.
Right. It's about a fundamental shift in how you see yourself in the world.
And that gets right to this central paradox he brings up. If sheer effort worked,
So most lives would already be changed, wouldn't they? He says the reason change fails isn't a lack of motivation. It's that we're trying to solve the right problems inside the wrong frame.
the wrong frame. So like that feeling of exhaustion or confusion.
Exactly. We treat those as personal failures, as downstream symptoms.
Yeah.
When he argues they're actually signals from an upstream design problem.
A misaligned lens.
The whole thing is about seeking system alignment.
I love that analogy. It's like trying to mop the floor while the faucet is still running. You're just treating the symptom.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So to fix that misalignment, he proposes these three specific lenses to sort of restore the system.
Okay, let's start with the first one, the one that gives us context.
That's the origin triangulation lens. It's all about restoring your context. It reminds you that you're shaped by three massive forces all at once.
Okay.
First, there's humanity. That's your biology, your evolutionary wiring. Second is civilization, the rules, the culture you were born into.
And the third?
Your individual formation. You know, your specific story, how you personally grew up.
And when you hold all three of those at the same time, the immediate effect is what?
It removes shame. It just completely removes it. It replaces that moral judgment that I'm lazy or I'm bad with a structural understanding.
So it explains why a pattern formed, but without excusing any harm it might have caused.
Exactly. It just shifts the focus from your character to the design of the system you're in.
Okay, so once the context is right, we move to understanding the engine itself.
And that's the second lens. The BTSD equals O lens, which restores the mechanism.
Wait, hang on. Can you clarify that acronym? ETSD equals O?
Of course. It's a chain of events. Belief leads to thought, which creates speech, which leads to your deed, and that produces the outcome.
Ah, I see.
And this is so important because it dissolves confusion. It shows you you're not broken. You're actually running a perfectly coherent process.
But inside a distorted rule set, the code is bad, not the computer.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's why just reading a book and knowing better doesn't stick. You're trying to change the deed downstream while the belief upstream is still running the entire show.
Which brings us to the third lens.
The final, and maybe the most profound one, the all-one-thing lens. This restores relationship.
Okay, this idea that separation is an illusion, it can sound a bit philosophical. How does he make that practical?
He calls separation the most damaging myth of all. The idea that you're separate from your body or from other people or your past.
And the practical part?
The practical part is that things like regulation, creativity, coherence, they only emerge through connection. So if you feel chaotic, the problem isn't that you need more isolation. It's a signal that you lack connection.
So if I'm tracking all this, the real power is when they work together. You can't just pick one.
Absolutely not. Context without mechanism. That's just understanding without any real change.
And I'm guessing mechanism without relationship.
Becomes cold, mechanical control without any compassion. They have to work in concert.
The whole framework then shifts the focus from fixing yourself.
Which implies you're defective, right?
And moves it towards restoring alignment.
And alignment is just the system behaving according to its actual design. That heavy effort we felt before, that was just us rowing against the current of our own humanity.
So it's about returning intelligence to places we've been taught to distrust. That resistance, that confusion, they were never signs of weakness.
They were just signals. We were reading them through a distorted lens.
The work ahead then isn't about more force.
It's about permission.
So we'll leave you with this to think about. If your confusion, your resistance, and your exhaustion were never signs of weakness, but simply signals misread through a distorted lens, what single action would you give yourself permission to stop performing today?
Thanks for listening. Before moving on, take a pause and read the next chapter. The conversation for that chapter will be waiting here when you're ready.